Yo, we're gonna do one of these videos that I haven't done in a while, which is a Q&A video. I used to try to get those done every few months or so because I do get a ton of questions, but I never really got to this one. So I apologize, man. But as they say, I may not come when you call, but I'm always on time. One question I've been getting a lot is, can you wear beanies with tailoring? For the past month, a lot of you have sent me this video on Instagram. Way was said you shouldn't be wearing beanies with tailoring because you might get confused for a burglar. Well, the short answer is yes. You can definitely wear beanies with tailoring. Some guys don't know how to pull it off. I don't have that problem. Number two, I'm from New York, B. When I woke up this morning, it was 7 degrees. But more importantly, do you know how sharp a burglar would have to be for someone to mistake me for them? Intro. Yo, what up? My name is Vladimir Riché from chaseandrider.com. In this video, I'm going to answer your questions. The first question is from my man PHSize08 on Instagram. And he said, what's my favorite pair of shoes? This one is really tough, man. I have about 45 pairs of shoes. I have more than that, but some of them I don't wear anymore, so I'm not counting those. I would say the first one is my dark brown suede split toe derby from Yale Style. Number two would have to be my dark brown grain Adelaide from Blazing Wonders. The second question comes from Alex McShane89, and he says, ties and pocket squares, do you buy them at the same time, or should you buy one and then the other? That's a good question. So I do not buy them at the same time. I don't have a pocket square for every tie that I have. Instead, what I like to do is to have my pocket square be in a lot of different colors. I'm talking about just one pocket square would have like 5 or 6 different colors. That way I can pull some of those colors and pair them with my tie. So for example, today I'm wearing a cherry tie with some green accents. And my pocket square, although it doesn't have any cherry in it, it does have some green. So that's a perfect pairing with the tie because you don't want them to match. You just want them to complement. Let's get to the next question. So this one is from Wayward Wingtips. And he says, a guy who needs to dress better but has no style, where would you tell him to start? So I would tell him to start with trousers. So for example, right now we're in the winter. So I would say start with a pair of medium gray flannel trousers. I would get them in a higher rise with some pleats. And I would start wearing them with more casual tops. So it could be a cardigan. It could be a OCBD. That's how I would start before I start getting deeper into it and start getting into suits and those type of things. I think starting with trousers is one of those things that's going to set you apart, where most guys are probably wearing jeans or khakis like Dockers, and then you show up in some trousers with a, slightly higher rise and some pleats. I would definitely add some cuffs. I think those things are going to start making you notice how different they are compared to everybody else. And you're going to start getting some positive comments. You might get some hate also. That comes with the territory. You know what I mean? You got to be able to embrace that. But people will definitely notice that you're different. That's a good way to catch the bug and then start getting into more pieces after that. But that's how I would definitely tell somebody to start. Next question is from Cassius B154. And he says, your top 5 best dress shirts that really based on quality and great craftsmanship. I have a bunch of nice dress shirts, man. And I don't know if I have a top 5 per se, because your shirt is supposed to be a blank canvas. But the colors that I go for, let's say I have to get 10 shirts. 5 of them would be light blue. 3 of them would be light pink. And 2 of them would be white. The next message comes from one of my big homies, Nick177. And he said, what shades of white can be worn in winter? So I don't really subscribe to the notion that you can't wear white after Labor Day. With that said, I think the best shades to wear in the winter when it comes to white is probably like a cream or ivory. Like for example, I have a nice pair of cream flannel trousers. I don't wear it all the time, obviously, because, it gets dirty really fast. But I feel like that works a little bit better than if you were to be pure white. So yeah, I would say like a cream/ivory would be the best shade of white or similar to white that works best in the winter. Next question comes from Kwaku Niame, and he says, I'm buying some black Capto Oxfords, TLB Mallorca or Vash. I would say it depends on what you like. Personally, I would go for TLB Mallorca simply because Vash don't fit me. I did have a pair of black Capital Oxford from Vash, did an unboxing. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it somewhere up here. I'll also include it in the description. But unfortunately, their last don't really go with my feet, even though I really, really love their last. But the main difference is Vash is hand welted versus TLB is Goodyear welted. Although TLB punch way above its weight, I haven't been keeping up with Vash lately, so I don't know what their prices are. I know with TLB, they are right under or right around the $400 price point. I remember when I bought my Vash, there were either 400 or 500, I can't truly recall. So I would say it really comes down to preference. If we're comparing apples to apples, hand welted is a better construction method than Goodyear welted. Although, it's not really a huge difference, not really something that you would be noticing while you're wearing the shoes or anything like that. But yeah, it comes down to preference, man. What last do you like? As far as the design of a black Capital Oxford, there's not going to be a huge difference. I do really love the finishing of TLB Mallorca. By the way, if you do want to get a pair of TLB Mallorca, if you do use my link, which I'm going to include in the description, a shoe shine kit will be added to your order automatically. I'm the only one with it. So if you're going to order a pair of TLB Mallorca, just make sure you use my link in the description. The next question comes from Sakis Pals. And he says, many people, including me, make mistakes in fabric combination. Can you help us? So with fabric combinations, you just want to make sure that they make sense. I think some guys might be overthinking this one, and there's really no need to do that. If you're in the winter, corduroy and tweed, for example, is a great combination because they're both heavily textured and they're both made for the fall and winter kind of weather. And in the spring and summer, you can wear a half-sack jacket and wear some fresco trousers because once again, they're both made for that weather. You can't wear half-sack trousers because they're see-through, but they were great for a jacket. Just think about the weather that you're in, and you can easily pair them that way. I don't think it should really be complicated. If something has texture, then try to match it with something that also has texture. And just make sure it makes sense for the season that you're in. I hope that works. Next question. When was your light bulb moment? This one comes from Tor Mabiodit. Hope I'm saying the name right. This is a great question. Light bulb moment. I used to go on Styrofoam all the time, and I would see a lot of guys wearing suits that I thought were too big. But they would always get comments about how great they look. And I would say to myself, why is this guy getting so many comments? Back then, I used to wear a lot of fitted suits, But I was driving one day, and I just started to think about all the things that had happened to me. Like people making, little comments, never really coming out telling me my suits are too tight, but just like some little subliminals. And yeah, I was driving, and I was like, man, what did that guy tell me? Is that the way that people are wearing their suits nowadays? Or why is it everybody on Styrofoam that get a lot of love on their outfits, their suit always look bigger than mine? It just all came to me. Man, I think I'm the one that's doing it wrong. It was a hard pill to swallow because at that point I was working in the menswear industry as a custom clothier. So I thought I knew everything, you know what I mean? But yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. And realized I didn't know anything at all. Next question. Where'd you get that knit hat? So the one in the picture that he commented on was from J. Crew, which is 100% cashmere. But the one that I'm wearing today is from my man Tailor out of Atlanta, Georgia. And this one is 100% merino wool. The rules of a beanie, if you're going to wear them, just make sure that they're really nice ones and they don't have anything written on them. Like you don't want, let's say, a New York Giants logo and then you're wearing that with tailoring. That just doesn't really make any sense. Now, before we go any further, and speaking of beanies, I created a shopping list, a fall and winter shopping list actually, for the members of my coaching program. And it was a really big hit in there, so I decided to give it away for free on LinkedIn. It'll be included in the description. And we cover everything from your top coat to your ties, shoes, even down to fragrance. And I know I don't really talk about fragrance a lot, but there are about 7 or 8 fall and winter fragrance that I recommend. So download it. It'll be linked in the description. Back to the questions. For Mr. FRCS, what do you think of Suit Supply? I'm a fan of Suit Supply because Suit Supply is one of those stores that you can easily walk in and find something versus a lot of the brands that I recommend, especially if you live in the US, they're not as accessible. So most major cities in the US do have a Suit Supply. If they don't, there's probably one within driving distance. One thing I would say to be careful, because a lot of the guys who work at Suit Supply, they prefer that slimmer aesthetic, which is fine if that's what you like. But I find a lot of them try to push you towards that direction, so you really want to be firm. If you have to bring some pictures with you, if you have to bring a friend for moral support, and just stand your ground, man. You know what I mean? Tell them like, nah, I don't like it that slim. I want to be comfortable. Here's a picture. This is exactly how I want my suit to look. And I'm sure that they'll be able to help you. They also have a great custom program. So yeah, to answer the question, I definitely do recommend Suit Supply. The next question comes from Lomax Donald. And he said, what shoes would you suggest pairing with a burgundy haversack sport jacket? I don't typically pair my shoes with my jacket. I pair my shoes more with my trousers. With that said though, I do have a nice burgundy jacket. I've worn it with all sorts of colors, including burgundy split-toe derbies, but I've also worn it with dark brown. I have a pair of black green split-toe derby. I've worn it with that. As far as the trousers, I've worn it with like light gray trousers. Seems to be a really nice color that goes with that. And with light gray trousers, you can pretty much wear almost any color shoes. So yeah, I don't really think of the shoes really when I'm thinking about the jacket. I just wear whatever works nice with the trousers, and they typically work with the top also. I make things very easy for myself, and that seems to work for me. So hopefully that works for you. Next question is from Maxim Wisers, and he says, do you have a video on the beginner essentials to a new wardrobe, including shoes as well? I do have a video on what would I do if I was starting a wardrobe at $750 budget, and that included the suit, the tie, the shirt, as well as the shoes. But I also have a course called Look Your Best in 5 Days or Less, where you can get your first classic menswear outfit. If you're interested, I'll include that link in the description. Next question, this one's a really good one, man. It comes from Commission King 19. And he says, do you have any prerequisites for finding a good tailor? 100%. One thing with tailors, a lot of times, they'll tell you they can do something even if they can't really do it. It's almost like they can't say no. So the first thing is you want to do some kind of research first, right? So if you know anybody in your town who's kind of sharp, you want to ask them, who do they use as a tailor? Because someone's sharp, they definitely have a tailor. If you happen to live in a town that no one is sharp, then the internet is your best friend. You want to go on a place like Yelp, Google reviews, and see what kind of reviews the tailors in your area are getting. So let's say you found a few reviews, you want to narrow it down to about 3 of them, and then you want to pay them a visit to see exactly if you guys look at menswear through the same lens. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to, but it's easier when you tell a guy you want 2-inch cuffs that he knows why you want 2-inch cuffs versus him telling you, you sure you want 2-inch cuffs? What about just doing 1 inch instead? Or 2-inch cuffs are dated. Why do you want that? I find it easier to work with guys who understand classic menswear. But more importantly, man, what you really want to do is you want to test them with some items that you don't really care about. And what I mean is go to a thrift shop, or if you already have something in your closet that you don't really care that much about it, you want to test them with those items and see how they do it. But I found a thrift shop to be better because you can definitely find some items that don't really fit you that great. So let's say the sleeves are too long, but they have working buttonholes. That means they have to be shortened from the shoulder as opposed to the bottom. You want to test them with those types of things because I've seen horror stories where a tailor would tell somebody, oh yeah, I can definitely do that. And instead of shortening it from the shoulder, they end up shortening it from the sleeve and it ends up looking like this. Like, this is a true story. I've seen that happen. You know what I mean? So things like that, you want to try them to see how they do. And then based on that, you can make your determination. So first, do some legwork, word of mouth, ask around. If that's not possible, then go online. Try to interview them, but a lot of times they get busy. They may not have the time. And then, test them out to see how they do and then pick one from there. I hope that helps. Next question is from Chinaman Speaks. It's my man Chino. And he says, where can I go to start my wardrobe, like as far as stores? So we mentioned Suit Supply before. Depending on budget, of course, you have Spear and McKay. You have Proper Cloth. Proper Cloth is becoming like an all-around kind of store. You have online stores like Skolix, No Man Walks Alone. There's a whole bunch of them, man. It just really depends on your budget and if whether or not you're comfortable shopping online. But yeah, I would say start with budget first. And then, some of those names that I mentioned, you can check those names out and start from there. Next question from Josh Drummer 67. I kind of already answered that, but the question is, what ultimately convinced you to change to a classic style from fashion trends? Yeah, man, I just was tired of doing it wrong. Well, I didn't know I was doing it wrong, but once I realized that, I was like, man, This is crazy. So this whole time, reading GQ magazine, I was doing it wrong. This is wild. So, it still took me 2 years once I realized I was doing it wrong to get it right, because I had to undo so many bad habits in order to build some newer habits, But yeah, it was just a matter of wanting to do it right. So next question comes from SC Still 2989. And he said, is it okay to wear navy blue leather shoes with navy blue suit? Is it okay? I guess yes. Would I do it? No. I'm not really a huge fan of my shoes and my trousers being the same exact color. Hence why I wear black shoes with dark brown suits. For example, right now I'm wearing a light brown suit and I'm wearing green shoes with it because green and brown are a great combination. Like, I would never wear a pair of brown shoes that's in the same shade as the suit that I'm wearing, right? The only time that I do that is if I'm wearing black. So if I'm doing black tie, obviously you gotta wear black shoes, but I'm not a fan of wearing the same color shoe as the pants or as the suit. So I would say no, to stay away from that one. Let's get to the next question. It comes from Kyle, WMCL, and he says, what's your take on putting gloves as an accessory in the outer breast pocket of an overcoat? I don't really have a problem with it. I don't do it myself. But I guess, it is what it is. That's a good place to put it if you don't want to lose it. Typically, I put it in my regular side pockets. But, if people want to use it as an accessory, since you're not going to have a pocket square in your top coat, I guess it is what it is. You know what I mean? So the next question is from LinkedIn, and that's from Warheed Srinivasa. And he says, thoughts on seasonal scents as far as fragrance and also possible watches for the occasions. So that's a good question. As far as seasonal scents, once again, if you want to hear my thoughts on fall and winter fragrance that I recommend, download my fall and winter shopping list where I go into more details. As far as possible watches, I'm a huge fan of wearing dress watches with tailoring. I know watches are a personal thing, so a lot of guys fight me when I tell them that they shouldn't be wearing, let's say, a chronograph with a suit. And it is what it is, but I do believe that if you are going to be wearing tailoring, it should be a dress watch based on the average wrist size of 7 inches. I'd say the size should be around 36, 38 millimeters. And if you have a smaller wrist like myself, where my wrist is 6.5, you can even wear like a 34. And if your wrist is bigger than the average size of 7 inches, then yeah, you can probably do a 40. But for the most part, you do want a dress watch, which are usually smaller watches, and they can slide easily underneath your shirt sleeve, or your shirt's cuff rather, So if your arms are by your side, I shouldn't be able to see your whole watch. Now, sometimes the sleeve is going to cover half the watch. Maybe the sleeve is not really long enough, but it shouldn't be stuck behind the watch because the watch is too big. Another thing with dress watches, I would say you want them to be on a leather band as opposed to a metal bracelet. A suit with a metal bracelet just doesn't really work for me. I don't make the rules. Leather bands are definitely dressier than metal bracelets. If you're in business casual, I guess you can do a metal bracelet, but I never do it. So whenever I'm in tailoring, I always do leather bands. Some might say it's easier for me because I do have my own leather watch strap company. If you want to show your boy some love, the link will be in the description. They're called the Chase and Rider straps. I'm wearing one right now. So as you can see, it is a dark green. And like I said before, I'm wearing dark green shoes. I'm the type of guy that always matches my leather straps to my shoes. So yeah, hope that answers the question. So the last question is also from LinkedIn. And it's from Ms. Wanale Sabunda. Bro, I really hope that I'm saying your name the right way. If I messed it up, I apologize. And he said, when is it appropriate to wear a ducktail style suit? And when is it appropriate to wear brogues? So a ducktail style suit is mostly relegated to extremely formal events. Not even black tie. I would say white tie is when you can wear a ducktail style suit. As far as when is it appropriate to wear brogues, so the more design a shoe has, such as broguing, which are the little holes that you find on the shoes, medallions, and those types of things, the more casual the shoe becomes. So if you are going to wear a pair of brogues, it's better to wear it with a more casual suit. Well, there are differences also when it comes to brogues. There are different levels. There are quarter brogues, there are half brogues, there are full brogues. So the more broguing that it has, let's say a wingtip, for example, which is a full brogue, those are more at home with a business casual wardrobe, like out trousers, sport coats, or even a good pair of jeans, with like a cardigan or something like that. But yeah, depending on what kind of broguing we're talking about, if it's just a quarter brogue, which is more like a punch capsule, you can definitely wear those with any suit. But if it's a heavy brogue, like a wingtip, you want to wear it with more casual clothing, either a really casual suit similar to the tweed suit that I'm wearing right now, or even more casual than that, where it's more like business casual wardrobe. Now, before we go, I wanted to do a quick unboxing. I received a nice package from Shibumi today, so shout out to my guys over at Shibumi. Benedict, I see you. There's some really special things in here that I wanted to share with you real quick. I got a knife just to do unboxing videos. And of course, now that I'm doing an unboxing, I can't find it, so I have to use a scissor. So just bear with me real quick, because I didn't even open this yet. I received it today. Shibumi has really fast shipping too, by the way. They shipped it on Friday, and today is Monday, and I got it in. I'm really butchering this box. Let me try to be less of a savage. All right. So I already know what they are, and I really can't wait to show them to you guys. So, all right. So there are a couple boxes. Comes with this booklet here. And that's my guy Benedict, the owner of Shibumi. One of the sharpest guys walking around out here. Yeah, I mean, there are 2 boxes. You guys should be familiar with the Shibumi boxes by now. I've unboxed a few of them since this channel started. And let's get right into it, man. A couple weeks ago, I released a video on my fall and winter tie collection. And one of the ties that I mentioned is a tie that I love the way it looks, but it ties some of the worst knots. But I still had it on my tie rack because I like looking at it, which was this tie right here from a company called Conrad Wu that no longer makes ties, or that's no longer in business, I should say. Ever since I got the tie and realized it didn't really tie a nice knot, I've been willing to replace it. Although I haven't really been looking. But after I made that video, I was like, yeah, I should definitely replace this tie and try to find something just as nice. But that tie is a really nice knot. And let's see what I got. Right here, fam. But they're the same as far as they're both foulards, and they're also both rust and green. But one thing that I know for sure, this is going to tie a beautiful knot. I can finally start wearing a nice rust tie, and I can put this tie away for good. So that's the first one. The second one, this is a tie that I've wanted for a long time. Like, I've seen other companies with this fabric, and I've always missed out on it for some reason. But once I saw that Shibumi had this, they didn't have it when they first came out with their fall and winter collection for this year, but they slowly introduced it. So once I saw that, I knew I had to have it. And by the way, I didn't pay for these ties. Shibumi sent them to me for free so that I can share them with you guys. If you use code VR10, you get 10% off Shibumi. So let's take a look. Oh my God. Look at this tie. No, seriously. Are you kidding me? So this tie is green with some orange, some blue, and this is just a gorgeous tie, man. Now you can see why I wanted this tie for a long time. And I must say my tie game is no joke. So shout out to Shibumi for sending me these ties. Now, last but not least, there's one more piece that I want to share with you. And this is one of those pieces that really sets you apart in the fall and winter, man. And I'm talking about none other than a scarf. So when it comes to fall and winter menswear, the thing that gets the most compliments are usually my top coats, as I take great pride into the top coats that I wear. But right behind that are my scarves, man. And check out this beauty by Shibumi right here, bro. Oh my God. There are some lines on there. I don't even know what color I would say this main color is. Maybe orange? So this is a combination of wool and silk. Typically, it's 70% wool, 30% silk. This is made in England. And yeah, I don't even know what to say right now. Except this is absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that was my Q&A video I'll definitely be doing a lot more of those in 2025. So feel free to send me your questions either on Instagram or through LinkedIn, and then I can answer them right here for you. So hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe, or everybody gonna think that you a hater. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.